T minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute and 50 seconds. T minus 1 minute and 40 seconds. T minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. T minus 1 minute and 20 seconds. T minus 1 minute and 10 seconds. T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What should I play next? What should I play next?
I don't know that part.
Can I call you Rose?
What should I play next?
Can I call you Rose? And not choose you again.
What should I play next?
Yo, what is poppin'? Before the video starts, I just want to let you all know that I give readings, just like the ones that you see every Monday on my channel. I give on point Orisha Tarot card readings for singles and also for couples. I also do natal chart consultations. My Everything is Everything reading is by far my bestseller. If you want to check out any of these services, please visit my website at www.bandclaptv.com. So again, if you want to check these things out, go to my website, www.bandclaptv.com. All right, on with the video. All right. What is popping, y'all? Let me get my background music on right quick so we can get started. Yeah, I mean, give me 1 second so I can make sure everything is how it's supposed to be. Yo. Okay, we good. Wow. How many of y'all know that beat that's playing in the background? Okay, so seems like we are live. What's good with you? Let's see who we got up in the chat. We got Showstopper. What's up, Showstopper? What's poppin', Sachel Rose? Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. You know, it's to the point now where when I pop up, it's some type of planetary alignment or something that's going on that's gonna leave a lot of people at a crossroads. And so, you know, me personally, I don't know how, you know, with all the work that I be doing and everything I be going through, how I'm able to take time out of my schedule to do these. But, you know, when it's meant for me to go live, I go live. So I've wanted to talk about this Saturn retrograde for a while. There's been a lot of different misconceptions about it. You know, there's been a lot of spookism surrounding it. You know, I'm hearing a lot of spiritualists. You know, throw this word karma around. Karma this, karma that. And the thing about it is, it kind of feels like karma. You know, think about it. Think about when you're a kid and you're used to seeing somebody get away with something, and you know, it's something that you can't get away with, but you're used to seeing other people get away with it. And then that one-off time to where the person may not necessarily get in trouble, or sometimes they do, but it's a situation to where now the wool isn't over everybody's eyes anymore, and now everybody's seeing what you're seeing. You know, some people will call that karma. You know, some people will call that karma. You know, other people may call it, you know, the other person is being sloppy. You know, you're being too sloppy. You thought that this way of doing things was gonna last forever, you know, and nothing lasts forever. You know, so you know, some people see that as karma. You know, some people, you know, because it links up with the law of correspondence. You know, what goes around comes around. Hey, we got Sister Doja in the building. What's up, Sister Doja? What's good with you? How have you been? So, I wanna get, you know, I always do this. I wanna get some of y'all's input. How has the beginning part of y'all's Saturn retrograde have been going? What's been happening with y'all? Have y'all been having a lot of full circle moments? It seems like, you're in a good mood, but it seems like everybody else around you is going through something crazy, and you look into their life and it's like, dang, it seems like, they finally got what's coming to them or whatever. I want to hear from y'all because I got an analogy. I stay with my analogies. So, I have an analogy that I'm going to talk about for a brief second because I really want to get to these live readings. So refer to the pinned comment at the top if you would like to get a live reading. Refer to the pinned comment at the top, and I'm gonna keep an eye on my Cash App, and whoever we get, that's who I'll do the live reading for. It's getting to a point to where, just in general, a lot of us have to draw a line in the sand as far as who we are, the services that we provide, our self-worth, and how we feel that we should be compensated. And also, we have to understand our limits and our boundaries when it comes to certain things regarding our services. And that's the line that I feel like that needs to be drawn in the sand. Because on this internet, there's something for everybody. There are people, and all they do is teach about adept spiritual topics, like a Seven Bromare, or like a Bobby Hemmett, very adept. With Bobby Hemmett, you got to be an experienced the dark side. You got to be an experienced some stuff in order to truly understand where Bobby Hemmett is coming from. With Seven Bromare, you got to be well studied when it comes to metaphysics and stuff like that. Peace, brother. Have a great show. I appreciate that, Shaman. I appreciate that. So we have to draw a line in the sand as far as the type of content. And I feel like with this road that I'm going down, I feel like my content is gonna be, for the more, I would say the more adept. But then with these analogies that I use, it can be something that anyone who has a thinking outside of the box, an open mind, even if you may not understand every single thing that I'm saying, you'll be able to, you too will be able to get something from what I'm talking about. That's why I like to try to spread my teaching methods out. And I like to talk about different things that the average person would be, the average person would understand about these things. So let me hear from y'all. What's good? What's good? What have y'all been noticing with y'all Saturn retrograde? With the Saturn retrograde, we know that Saturn is a Saturn is a planet that nobody likes because it's all about rules and consequences and all that type of stuff. And when we look out into the media, we're seeing how unruly. We're seeing a lot of unruly, undisciplined type of stuff in the media. Me, I don't really like talking about politics and stuff, but the whole presidential debate. How many of y'all seen that? The Scorpio and the Gemini. Trump versus Biden. And everybody talking about how, Biden, he too old. Like he too old to be the figurehead anymore. Which is perfect for us, that's in the spiritual community, conscious community, because we've been saying this all along. It's like these entities are gonna try to ride this out till the wheels fall off. Even though the more they do this, the more and more and more and more they're getting exposed for who they really are. You know, they don't care. They're just gonna ride this till the wheels fall off. And then you got Trump. You know, you got Trump. Nothing about him is supposed to scream president-elect candidate. You know, if Trump was black and he was a felon, come on now, y'all know what's up. You know, if Trump was black, like a black dude, like Ben Carson, and he was a felon and he went to jail and he had all of these different scandals and all this stuff, man, he would not be in the situation that he's in now. So he's also playing the game. Just like how Biden is doing. You know, he just represents the lesser of two evils, at least because he's conscious of himself. You know, then you got the Drake versus Kendrick. Drake, the Scorpio, Kendrick, the Gemini. You know, and I already talked about that whole situation. But all of this has something to do with this Saturn retrograde type of thing. And you know me, I'm the type of person to where I like to let stuff play out. I like to let stuff play out before I give my 2 cents on it. So, you know, for some people, it may seem like I'm too late. You know, for some people, it may seem like, oh, you should have struck while the iron is hot. You know, but for those of you who, you know, are going to hear this message and stuff like that, you know, you're going to understand what's really going on out here. Let me see what you're saying. Shaman 009. People have been trying to impose roles and rules around me. I'm cooling though. That's another thing. You know, it's almost the way the world stage. I'm gonna start calling it the world stage. The way the world stage is playing out, like different things are being done and put out to kind of make you love Saturn even more. You know, to kind of make you understand and love Saturn. You know, the whole thing about you know, the BET Awards. How many of y'all seen the BET Awards? How unruly and just ratchet that the BET Awards was. So there was someone, you know, there was someone that is a podcaster. I think they were like Hip Hop DX or something like that. And they did a live stream talking about it. And she brought up the comparison between the BET Awards and the NAACP Awards. You know, she was saying that, you know, in the NAACP Awards, everything is structured and everything is, you know, all of these Saturn type of words. Everything is structured. You know, Sexy Red wouldn't have been allowed in the building. You know, these different acts wouldn't have happened in an NAACP award or a Grammy award, because see, these are all, the higher up you go, the more of Saturn that you have to, the more of that Saturn energy that you gotta douse yourself with. You know, it's all around you. Everybody's watching. So, you know, you gotta be careful. You know, the whole thing about Keith Lee. You know, even that whole situation was ritualistic. You know, the situation with Keith Lee and Taraji P. Henson. You know, Keith Lee, he's been the type of person that's trying to play both sides in this situation. And in this Saturn retrograde, you know, that's going to be called out right now. And I say playing both sides because I'm pretty sure, and it's not I'm pretty sure, I know Keith Lee understands his celebrity. Like, he understands that he's just no everyday person. You know, he may not be the type of celebrity that you would name Taraji P. Henson as. You know, he may not be like that. Even though all of that is coming down as an illusion. Anyway. But even with that situation, it's showing you that once upon a time there was levels. There was levels to celebrity, you know, and all of this stuff is being is crumbling down. Um, all of this that you're seeing is all crumbling down. There used to be a time to where Keith Lee wouldn't even be in the same building as a Taraji P. Henson. You know, a lot of these social media influencers are getting the celebrity treatment now. Let me see what you're saying, Satchel. It's crazy because I don't even know how Kendrick is glowing and Drake is drained. Like I said, it's all a play. It's all a play. See, Kendrick Lamar, he wouldn't be able to do what he's doing now if he wasn't previously in the industry. Like in the industry, like in the industry. Even if you know, you know. So it's like, yeah, he's independent. It's almost like a Lucifer type of thing. How Lucifer, he was once in heaven. He was once in heaven too with Yahweh and all of that. So when Lucifer decided to go independent, and he was the most beautiful musician, the most beautiful angel, all that. So yeah, quite naturally, when he gets kicked out of heaven, he's gonna have a host of angels that's gonna come down with him. It makes sense. When you look at it biblically, it makes a lot of sense. So like I said, I always have these analogies when it comes to this, because it helps me to explain these it helps me to explain this astrology a lot better, especially since I know there's a lot of people that watch my channel. You may not be into astrology like that, but you still want to know how you need to move during this time where it seems like the rules are backwards. A lot of glitching has been going on right now. And if you are a Eshu, and I already talked about, the hackers, the modders, the different ways to play the game. So if you're an Eshu, this is a perfect time for us, because when it comes to us, who always get the short end of the stick, it seems like we always get the short end of the stick, even though we do the most work behind the scenes. When it comes to these glitches and stuff that you're seeing in the Matrix, issues, we're able to use these glitches to our advantage. So as issues, Virgo moon, Aries moon, Virgo sun, you got to be very, very observant right now, because different opportunities to quantum jump and to quantum leap, like all of this stuff is going on right now while everybody is distracted. And this is a very personal and a very private type of thing. Very personal, very private. Okay, so the last live stream, I talked about, with the sun being in Cancer, we're all at the home screen right now. So the live readings today is going to be about, depending on if you are a person who is looking for the machine to console them, versus if you're someone who is more of a PC type of person. So you're someone that's a lot more, you take a lot more control when it comes to the Matrix. You take a lot more control because you had to build your PC from the ground up. So it gives you a more understanding of the Matrix, that you're living in. So this is someone who is extremely observant. This is someone who is constantly working on creating their own world within this, within this Matrix that we're in. Creating your own world creating your own reality within this reality to where you're able to get the most out of reality. That's how I look at, when I'm talking about this analogy with the PC person versus the console person. So now we're at the part to where you got to choose what mode that you want to play. Your mood dictates your mode. Your mood, which is the Cancer, because we're Cancer Sun and Cancer Moon right now. So this is like the perfect time to talk about this. So whatever your mood is, it depends on, whatever your mode is depends on the mood that you're in. So, when you're in a high mood, it seems like the game gets a lot easier, don't it? When you in a good mood, you shining, you glowing, it seems like everything everything just works out. It's easy mode. And sometimes people will actually say that, like, man, you look like the type, man, you live life on easy mode. How many of y'all have heard that? Now, for someone who's just going through the motions, you're going to be playing the game in normal mode. So, normal mode, this is just, just wherever society, wherever the trends go in society, or however, the waves go up and down, it affects you. And, this is the level that most people that you see are going to be on. So you got hard mode, hard mode. And, these are all the things that a lot of us have chose before we even got here, to this platform that we're on. That's why some of us, shout out to my homeboy Monty. He always used to say this phrase, I'm built different. I'm built different. And some of us, we've been playing the game on hard mode because that's what it seemed like society wants you to do, when you came here to play the game on easy mode. Like you've already played the hard mode, so you were meant to play the game on easy mode. But if you don't know that that's the case, then you would know how to pause, because a lot of times you gotta push pause, and then you can change what mode you want to play the game in. A lot of us are so busy throughout the day. That we feel like we don't have time to pause. We don't have time to pause and look and really pay attention and look at what's in front of us. Look at this reality that's in front of us, because we always have a choice to make in this game. We all have a choice to make in this game, and and the game is balanced. The illusion, though, because there's a lot of illusions when it comes to this game. The illusion is that if you play the game on easy mode, or if you play the game on hard mode, you'll get the most out of the game if you play it on hard mode versus playing it on easy mode. That's an illusion. And a lot of these illusions that I'm talking about are things that's being dispelled right now. And I say that because Saturn is debilitated in Pisces. So, like I say, a lot of people, they may not understand what I'm saying when it comes to this. So I like to break it down like this. So we gotta, just like how I started from the beginning with the console and the PC, we gotta start from the beginning when it comes to this. So when you were a kid, when you were a child, you didn't have to have money as a child. As a kid, You didn't necessarily need money because everything was provided for you by your parents. And I'm just, and this is just a, you know, a example of, somebody, who's a baby, raised up, two-parent household, just a normal family. I'm not talking about if you was raised, how you would be if you were raised by a single parent or uncle or grandma. I'm just talking about the regular family dynamic situation. So when you were a kid, not only did you not need money, every time that you would try to step out of a boundary of being a kid, your parents would always tell you to stay in the child's place, and they used to say it in a very serious, in a very demanding, very serious type of tone. So as kids, we were always curious, even though we didn't necessarily agree with the way our parents felt about things. We felt like they were too hard, they were too rigid, parents just don't understand, all that type of stuff. Even though we saw that, a lot of us as kids, we were still curious about what it would be like to be an adult, because certain things that were out of our boundary, it seemed like they didn't have that boundary. you know as an adult, you could stay up as long as you wanted to. You could stay up all night as an adult. As an adult, you can eat all the ice cream, eat all the candy at night. You can eat anything that you wanted. Y'all can even put in the chat, like, what are some things that when you were a kid, you were kind of envious of your parents about. Like, dang, my mom and dad could do this, and I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. I want to stay up. I want to stay up all night too. I want to stay up and watch horror movies and watch scary movies and stay up. What's up, Crazy Eights? Crazy Eights, I know you got some stories of some things that you saw your parents doing, and you was like, dang, I wish I could do that when you were a kid. And you didn't, and as a kid, we didn't understand why our parents wasn't like us. They're not like us. Same shit we used to tell we used to, talk to our siblings and our classmates about our parents. They're not like us. They don't understand because they're not like us. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and y'all keep me abreast on the music. The music, make sure the music isn't too loud and stuff like that. Y'all keep me abreast on that. I want to make sure that y'all can hear me and stuff like that. Okay. So as a kid, in order for you to prove your worth in the house, since you didn't have money to prove your worth and stuff like that, it was a lot more innocent back in the day, because to prove your worth, like, you really had to do Saturn-like things in order to prove your worth during those times when you were a kid. So let's talk about it. So Saturn represents, let me see here, because I got it. Saturn represents discipline, karma, what goes around comes around, and responsibility, which is Capricorn things, Aquarius things, Libra type things, Taurus and Virgo type of things. Like, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 signs that do well with Saturn. These are the signs that Saturn likes. So as parents, when you're a kid, you have to do these Saturn-like things to prove your worth. You know, um, Capricorn. Capricorn, you had to be good in school. You know, Aquarius, you had to be you had to show manners. You had to be well mannered around other people. You know, Libra, you had to be good to your mom and dad. You know, good to your principals. You know, good to your elders. Respect your elders and stuff like that. You know, Virgo, you know, you better be a kid as long as you can. You better be a kid as long as you can. You know, while because being an adult ain't what it's cracked up to be. You know, a lot of us learned that. You know, Taurus. You know, Taurus. You know, Taurus represents you know, when you did these chores, or you did these missions, or you did these tasks. You know, mission, go to the store and buy me a pack of Newports and a lottery ticket or whatever. You know, and when you come back, after you didn't got that for mama, for what they call her, OG, get that for your OG. Sometimes she'll give you a little extra, a little extra. And you the feeling that you got, whatever your parents did to reward you, the feeling that you got, you felt high self-esteem, you felt high self-worth, you felt a high sense of a high sense of self-reliance, like all these type of things. When you were a kid, these were all things that your parents were responsible for teaching you about. Let me see what you're saying. Crazy Eights, going whenever, wherever they wanted to go, staying up late at night. Yeah, that's true. In most cases, I was in hard mode. I wanted independence. Now I have it and loving it. I felt like my parents and I were in reverse roles. Yeah, I definitely feel that. So when you were a child, you had to do these missions, you had to do these different things, chores, they call them chores or tasks or stuff like that. And every time you completed these chores and these tasks, you got something called allowance. You got an allowance, and that allowance was your parents showing you, giving you just a little taste of their world, just a little taste of their world. But, this is your parents, trying to show you how valuable you are to them, how valuable that was. And a lot of it, when it comes to on the parent side, we just trying to give our kids some busy work so they won't be, getting into nothing, or so we can keep an eye on them. A keyword, keep an eye on them, all seeing eye, keeping an eye on them. So we're putting our kids to work. We're putting them to work so they won't, have time to have an idle mind, because idle mind represents Pisces, a idle mind, and Saturn is debilitated in Pisces. All of this, goes in with this analogy. So, you got this allowance money and stuff like that. So now you have something that a lot of the other kids don't have, because not every kid got allowance money, Now, even though Saturn is debilitated in Pisces, the Pisces, which represents dreams, imaginations, all of that, and Aries, which has a lot to do with what is going to shape your uniqueness and your identity when you grow up. As a kid, that's what you're all about. And that's why, Shaman, it really seemed like your parents and you were in a different role, because as a kid, you are an opposing you are an opposing planet to your parents, because your parents, have been indoctrinated by Saturn. Saturn don't like don't Saturn don't like imagination. Saturn just wants you to do what they tell you to do. They don't want you to be innovative and imaginative. They don't even want you to be unique. They want you to do it the way they tell you to do it. Don't be trying to put your own uniqueness to it. Depending on how you do that, that might result in you getting a whooping. Or, it might result in now you done taught your parents something that they more than likely aren't going to give you the credit for once they start doing it. Now Mars, Mars and Neptune. Mars represents Aries and Scorpio. Scorpio is your being able to adapt to change and stuff like that, being mischievous, all of that. And then you got Aries, that is your identity and your uniqueness and all of that. So Mars, when you think about kids, that's what you think about them. That's what kids think about them, as little devils sometimes, because they always manipulative, getting their way, always getting into stuff. Kids be fighting out. They be fighting each other all the time, wrestling, play fighting, stuff like that. That's Mars energy. And, kids are extremely imaginative. That's Neptune. That's Neptune type of energy. So when you're a kid, that's the type of energy that you're in. So when you're a child, what is the thing that kids used to do back in the day to escape? It's called going to the arcade. So as a kid, you would save your allowance money and you would go to the arcade. Now, the arcade, the etymology of the word arcade is a vaulted place, which means it's a huge place with a high ceiling, a triangular high ceiling with arches, And when I thought about this, it made sense, because why do you think McDonald's caters to kids? They got the kids meal, they got the Ronald McDonald. When I was coming up, they used to have the playground in McDonald's, with the golden arches, because it was always something to reel in not only your children, but you, because when you were a kid, McDonald's was around. So the arcade is this vaulted place with all of these different type of voodoo all these different type of voodoo stations, aka video games. Voodoo means video. That's what they translate to. Now imagine, going to the arcade as a kid. Now, when you're in the arcade, you don't use your real money at the arcade. To play the games, you don't use your real money. Your mom or you take your money and you put the money in the machine, and the machine spits out these tokens. And with these tokens, you can use these tokens to play the game. With. Now, with this being said, think about the things that led you to the arcade. Either Capricorn, you were good in school. That's how you got to the arcade. The arcade, coming up, at least for me, the arcade was a reward. It wasn't something that you just, for some people, that's where they would hang out at. It's someplace that's social. You can stuff like that. But for people like me that was poor, my mom and dad didn't have it like that financially. The arcade was a reward. So I had to do the things of Saturn in order for me to get to the arcade. So either Capricorn, I had to be good at school. Aquarius, I either had to have some friends who they mom can talk to my mom, and they're like, yeah, can I go to the arcade with my friends? Yeah, you can go. I already talked to his mom, and all of this type of stuff. You know. So Aquarius, that's association, being associated with other people, other intelligent people, and that's how you got to the arcade. Libra, your mom took you to the arcade, or your dad took you to the arcade. Taurus, you saved up your own money to go to the arcade. Whether that was allowance, whether that was you helping people or whatever. You were patient and you used your own money to go to the arcade. Or Virgo, you just had to work your ass off. You just had to work your butt off, and that's how you was able to get to the arcade. You was working so hard. You was, while you walking down the street, oh, I found a quarter. Oh, I found a nickel. Oh, I found a dime. Like you really. So when you go to the arcade as a Virgo, you got this big old jar. You got this big old jar full of pennies that you've been collecting in the street. and you put all of that, you put all of that, because you got to go to the counter, because they got to count all that stuff and convert it to dollars and then convert it to coin, convert it to tokens. So they're like, dang, Virgo, you just, I appreciate your hard work, but dang, like, So in the arcade, once you then traded in your the fiat money for the coins, once you traded your dollars, which is what the adults use, and now you're trading that in for the coins, that's what the kids use or whatever. So now you able to play any game that you want to. Now, for most kids, they're not gonna stay on one game the whole day. They want to try to play as many games as they can. And the ones who stay on that one game and they become competitive and stuff like that, we see them in E3. Even though E3 wasn't something that was big back then, it was just a, bragging rights. Like, yeah, like I'm a master at Pac-Man, or yeah, I'm a master at Galaga, or I'm a master at air hockey, or I'm a master at skee ball. Can't none of y'all beat me in skee ball. You always had one of those kids in the circle, and think about how much fun you had at the arcade. And when you left the arcade, you was just on cloud nine. Your Pisces, your imagination was just all over the place. I know with me, I went to the arcade. That was my first time playing Bloody Roar, where the fighters turn into animals and then the animals start fighting each other. Man, I love that game so much. But I knew since it was called Bloody Roar, I knew my mom and dad would never buy that game for me. So every time I would go to the arcade, that'd be the first game I would play. Satchel, it says that you said something, but then the message retracted. I've always had to work my ass off a lot harder than most kids. Yeah. And as black people, that's what we've been taught how to do. That's what we've been taught. When, we should have learned the more Aquarius way, which is it's all about who you know. Because you had some kids, they was wanderers, and they would go into the arcade, oh, can I get a quarter, or can I get a token so I can play this game? Can I get a token? And he might get lucky the first couple times he do it. But if that's his MO, it's gonna get to the point where he's gonna be the kid that nobody want to help. All of that is all of that goes in with this. So when we got older, and consoles came out, when we got older, we would save up our money, or we would try to get our moms to get us a console. Because, with the console, now, I don't have to keep spending or it's not you spending money. I don't have to keep asking my parents, and I don't have to keep, doing all of this stuff to go somewhere and play the game when I can just play the game at the house. I can just play the game at home, home console. Now, the thing about it is, though, the console version and the arcade version of that same game is two totally different things. The arcade is an experience. You're never going to be able to replicate the experience of the arcade at home. You're just not going to be able to. So the developers, they knew this. So they understood with the console version of the game, you have the arcade mode, but they also have different types of modes. They got arcade mode, which is a mode that is reminiscent of the arcade that you used to play as a kid. And when you play arcade mode, every time you beat the game, you unlock a new character. That's arcade mode. Every time when you were at the arcade, even if it's just one stage, if you beat the game and you beat the game, that built your character as a kid. It gave you this ego boost. It gave you this, nothing is impossible. It really gave you this type of motivation as a kid. And if you lost the game and you didn't want to put another coin in, you want to play something else, then it was no hard feelings. Just play another game. It's a bunch of games in here that you can play. It's not like that on the console. On the console, you just got this one game and you got to commit to it. There's a commitment. There's a commitment that's made. Because if your mom spent all of this money to buy this game and you're not playing it, now it's going to be an issue. So there's a different type of commitment when we're talking about the arcade versus the console. Now, just like how we found out later that a lot of these arcades are rigged, as kids we didn't care. We just asked mom, can I get some quarters or whatever? Like, you didn't care. Actually, the fact that it was rigged made it more fun because you didn't really expect to just play the game all the way out like this. You didn't expect that. You played it, and then once you got tired of it, you put that one down and then you played something else. And the beautiful part about it is, let's say you were winning in that game, so you can still, you can still keep going. You get tired and go somewhere else. Now another kid has a chance to pick up where you left off, on your winning streak and keep on playing without putting a quarter in, without putting a token in. What's up, Natural Market? What's good with you, love? Did you used to go to the arcade when you were a kid? I would like to know. So the home console games, they had to add some type of story. They had to add these other things in the game to keep you engaged. Because now, since it's a home console, now it's about engagement. And then, it turned into a situation to where, at least with me, we used to trade games, when I was a kid. That's how you got your weight up. That's how you got different games, when you were a teen, by trading with other people, trading with other kids. I got burnt a few times. I'm thinking I'm trading a game with somebody and, I opened up the box and it ain't nothing in there. I got burnt a couple times doing that. you know. But that's just what they say. You just got to charge it to the game. You know, you got to charge it to the game. Now, you know, this was our life. You know, this was our life as kids, you know, as teenagers, stuff like that. So when you mature, there's supposed to be like this graduation from Neptune and Mars, going from Neptune and Mars to Saturn, to like Saturn and Jupiter. So when it's time for you to expand, which is Jupiter, now it's time to get serious, which is Saturn. You know, so when you become an adult, that's when you become a parent. When you become an adult, that's when you start to become a parent. Y'all see that word right there? Y'all start to become a parent when you're an adult. Not a parent like as a mom or as a dad. I mean a parent, which means clear sight. You know, clear sight. Being able to see things clearly. You know, what they say, reality starts to hit you real hard. You know, once you become an adult, you become a parent. And once that process happens, you know, what they say in the Bible, when I was a child, I played with childish things. You know, when I was an adult, you know, now that I'm adult and I'm a parent, I got to put those childish things away or whatever, you know, because now that one thing that you didn't really have to care about as a child, which is time. Oh, you got to care about that now. So now when it comes to playing games, you know, when you're an adult, you know, playing games, that's a gamble. You know, you shouldn't be playing games as an adult when you're a parent and you understand that this matrix, that this world is a matrix and you need to be trying to do what you need to do so you can get up out of here, so you can die properly. You know, the fun starts to get sucked out of just the normal everyday things that you used to just see as a kid. You know, now that you're an adult, you understand that time is of the essence. You know, so it's like, yeah, I could stay up all night and you know, and watch TV or play the game or something like that. But then if I'm late for work in the morning, what am I going to tell my boss? You know, I could stay up all night and eat ice cream and eat cookies and all that type of stuff. But if I end up getting sick to where I need to go to the hospital or go to the doctor, do I have insurance? Do I got insurance to be going to the doctor? Do I got insurance? Do I got money to be going to the hospital? You know, I got these issues with my body now, Virgo. I got these issues with my body. I got these issues with my bones, Capricorn. You know, you know, and you can keep going. You know, synchronize Aquarius, Libra, and Taurus to your body parts, and see don't things change when you are an adult now. You know, and this is why as adults, you know, we're so lost. You know, we're so lost and we're just so, you know, it's hard for us to look at the good in things once you become an adult, because now your self-worth and your values and what you're valuable for and all of that type of stuff, you know, now it has everything to do with that dollar, that artificial currency, that dollar. You know, when you were a kid, you know, you knew what you was worth because your parents told you every day. You know, your parents told you how valuable you are to them, how much they love you, how much they care about you. You know, once you become an adult and now you're a parent, it's a lot of these boundaries, a lot of these things you got to see for yourself now. You know, you got to see all of this stuff for yourself now. And so there's places as adults that has to mimic. There's places as adults that mimics the things that we used to do as kids, and it also mimics the new changes in the rules and stuff. Because once there's this line that's drawn. Once you become an adult, you can't be hanging around the places that the kids hang around. People, they're gonna look at you weird. You can't go to the places where kids go to be a kid once you're an adult. you know. And kids have no place in the world of adults. That's why and once you get older, now you understand why you had to stay in a child's place when you were when you were a kid or whatever. Now you understand. So there's a place that as an adult you go that represents this. And it's called the casino. Now, when you look up the etymology of the word casino, it means a little building where people go for music and dancing. Don't that sound like the club too? Don't that sound like the club too? And the casino, the casino it's a totally different experience than in the arcade. Because at the casino, you're using your own money. You're using your own money for the casino. You're not using mama's money. You're not using dad's money. You're using your own money for the casino. So now you understand what it feels like to sell your soul to have fun. You got to spend your hard-earned money to have a good time somewhere, And so just like the arcade, you get chips, you use chips and stuff like that, at the casino. And if you lose at that casino, and hopefully you didn't spend your rent money. Hopefully you didn't spend your freaking, the money that you need to survive for the rest of the month. Unlike when you were a kid, you're not going to be so happy, if you lose at the casino, because the hard reality is going to hit you in the face a lot harder, a lot harder, So there's a line, with me giving y'all this, I'm just showing y'all, how we got to this point where we're at. Why does it seem like the people who are on the PC side are getting to know their inner child a lot faster? Why do you think the people on the PC side is learning about the things, in this world, the hidden things in this world, the hidden occult things in this world? Why do you think the people on the PC side is learning this faster? The people on the console side, they're finally starting to get there. But on the PC side, we have these things called emulators, where I can literally emulate the arcade experience directly from my PC. So I can really be a kid again with the PC. With the console, the console is turning into a casino. You gotta pay for this. You gotta pay for this. You got in-app purchases. You gotta pay for this. You gotta pay for that. You can't progress this far unless you download this DLC. And if it don't cost you in one way, it's gonna cost you in another way. So if it don't cost you as far as with these gift cards, these PlayStation cards, these Xbox cards, if it don't cost you that way, it's gonna cost you with your storage. You're gonna always have to buy hard drives, always have to delete games. If it don't cost you that way, it's gonna cost you with your light bill. At least with my laptop, I can unplug it. I can unplug it for a while and it can run by itself on a battery. You don't even got that option as a console. You need to have a TV. A PlayStation 5 with no TV is just, it's just a paperweight. You can't do nothing with it. So so with that being said, you know, right now in the times that we're in, you know, you're noticing in what way you have decided to play the game, and now you gotta decide what mode are you going to choose to play the game in, and whatever your mood is depends on the mode that you're playing. You know, so let's just say if you got Saturn and Capricorn, that means that you came down here to play the game on single player mode. You know, that means that you came down here to play the game on single player mode. You know, now it's going to be a lot harder for you. You know, the hard reality is going to be a lot harder for you. But you taking advantage of all the little side quests, all the little things that the game has to offer. You taking advantage of certain things that's being put in the game for you to interact with. You know, this is the reason why a lot of times Capricorns can be kind of awkward, because the only people that they're going to be able to link up with, and the only people that they're going to feel safe with, are the people that the game has programmed them to be friends with, to link up with. You know, you got Aquarius. Aquarius is multiplayer mode. Aquarius means multiplayer mode. So if you got Saturn in Aquarius like me, you know, it means that in a perfect world, you know, you were supposed to play the game associated with other people. You were supposed to be multiplayer. You know, play with you got different types of multiplayer. Right now, I'm playing the game on online multiplayer. You know, because I don't know none of y'all personally. I don't know none of y'all personally. You know, but we're all playing this game. You know, so that's Saturn in Aquarius. If you got Saturn in Libra, you know, that means that when it comes to you, your game is going to the difficulty, the game difficulty that you have is going to be solely based on the people, places, and things that you decide to interact with and connect with. So if you got a Saturn in Libra, that means that you kind of playing like a RPG type of game, to where whatever person you decide to connect with, whatever option that you choose, you know, whatever option you choose, you know, that's you gotta be you're gonna be stuck with that option. And then at the end of it all, when your game is over, you're gonna be able to look over all the options that you chose and stuff like that, and really, you know, get an understanding of what this game is truly supposed to mean for you. So if your Saturn is in Taurus, is in Taurus, that means that no matter how difficult the game is, you have everything inside of you to really enjoy the game for what it was meant to be. You know, so if you're Saturn in Taurus, you know, you have a lot of patience. You know, if your Saturn is in Taurus, that means that you came into the game with a high value. You came into the game high value. You know, you as a human in this experience, your game is to realize the value that you have inside. And once you realize that, you know, you'll be able to use that value that you have inside of you to purchase different things in the game. You know, it's like you coming into the game with a bunch of coins. You know, so once you realize what you have, now you know you can cash in. You can cash in and get all the perks and, you know, stuff like that. You know, now don't become an idol god. If you got Saturn in Taurus, don't become an idol god, because once the game refreshes And now you got to start over from stage one. You better be able to back up everything that you were saying when you were on your high horse. When you had it all, when you were valuable and stuff like that. Virgo. You know, Virgo. A lot of times when it comes to when you have Saturn in Virgo, it's almost like, you understand the ins and outs of the game totally. It's just that in your particular the way you chose to play the game, it's almost like, even though you could be playing the game on hero mode like the powers that be, you chose, even though you are a hero, you chose to play the game on the mode that everybody else is playing on. Until that one situation, or until that situation that happens where you become a parent, or when you become conscious and stuff like that. And the reason why you became conscious is because you finally started to go on a path that you was on, that made you as powerful as you are. So a lot of times when it comes to Saturn and Virgo, you go through a lot of embarrassing, hard reality situations. You go through situations to where either you get off scot-free when everybody else don't, or you get in trouble when and everybody else don't, and you trying to figure out why. So just like the Taurus, the Virgo has to really be connected with their innocence in order for them to get through these hard reality situations, because Virgo, you can really feel like Saturn is beating you down. Like, dang, I can't do nothing right. I can't do nothing right. But that's far from the truth. It's almost like you came into this game to perfect yourself. Like, you already beat the game. Like, you've already won. You just came in the game to perfect yourself. Now, when it comes to, because Saturn has boundaries, So, when it comes to these boundaries and, its rigidness and discipline, like all that kind of stuff. So these are the things, that Saturn don't like. Saturn don't like Aries, because Aries, the reason why Saturn don't like Aries, the reason why Shango, Ogun doesn't like Shango, is because Shango has all of the uniqueness and all of the charisma needed to overthrow Ogun. Even though Ogun, he's the type of warrior that's all he do. That's all he know. That's all he do. So pound for pound, Ogun may be a harder warrior than Shango. But see, Shango, he came down here into the game with a bunch of perks. He got thunder powers. He got Ashe. He came down here with a mythical weapon. He got a mythical axe. Shout out to Satra Rose, named Oshia. He got a mythical axe. He came down here with all these perks and all of this stuff. Aries. That's the reason why Aries has a hard time dealing with Saturn. If you got Saturn in Cancer, Saturn don't like Cancer, because that's the Ogun. That is the Ogun and Yimbo situation. The Ogun and Yemoya situation. Because Cancer likes to be comfortable. They like to be private. And Saturn, he when it comes to making examples out of people, when it comes to consequences, Saturn can be very elaborate with doing that. Cancer don't like their business all out there. Cancer, Saturn is always going to get Cancer out of their comfort zone. So they don't like each other when it comes to that. Saturn and Leo. You know, Saturn doesn't like Leo because Leo can be so freaking egotistical, so proud of themselves for completing level 1. And Saturn is like, I hope you understand that, you know, the game is a lot longer than just level 1. You know, you got to keep going. You know, pride comes before the fall. And Saturn has to be the one to teach Leo that, you know. And just because that's something that Saturn has to do, you know, it don't mean that Saturn likes to do it all the time. You know, Saturn versus Leo kind of talks about the fight, you know, between the Lyrans and the freaking Draco, you know, Oshun versus Oya. Pretty much. Saturn versus Leo is like Oshun versus Oya in a way. And then Scorpio. So I spoke a little too soon. Because Scorpio, well, in this analogy, Scorpio has a lot more to do with Eshu than anybody. You know, because Scorpio understands that there's more than one way that you can play the game. And also, there's more than one way to beat the game. And Scorpio understands, since Scorpio was here before the game was created, Scorpio understands that if you know the game inside and out, then, you know, there's certain little things that you can do to get ahead, you know. So Scorpio can take the Virgo knowledge and, you know, create some type of exploit so they can get farther in the game than everybody or something like that. And we've been seeing this play out in the world stage when it comes to the degrees, the honorary degrees. You know, Saturn in Scorpio is like honorary degrees, you know. So, you know, that's talking about, you know, someone who has these accolades for certain things based on certain things that they've done. And with this, they were able to manipulate the system. They were able to kind of cheat the system, manipulate the system. So you didn't have to go through the Capricorn. You didn't have to go through the hard path and the you know, the long nights and, you know, the studying and the homework, and, you know, you didn't have to go through a lot of that, the term papers and the 15-page papers. You didn't have to go through all of that to get your doctorate. You know, you cheat the system because you became a celebrity instead of becoming you became a celebrity instead of becoming a academic achiever. You know, so it's like you cheated the game. And the more people that get these honorary degrees, it breaks the game. You know, that's what Saturn don't like about Scorpio. Because Scorpio can break Saturn. You know? So, you know, I think that's what I'm gonna talk about when it comes to this. So, the live readings, what the live readings are gonna be about. So let's go to, let me pull up my natal chart. Give me 1 second. Okay, here it is. All right, y'all see that? So this is the natal chart. Okay. So let's go ahead and refresh this. So the sun and the moon is in Cancer in the 4th house. Is that the 4th house? Yeah, that's the 4th house. So the sun and the moon is in Cancer in the 4th house. So this is talking about your mood. You know, what when you came down here, the readings are going to be about when you came down here, What difficulty did you decide to play the game on? You know, because with this Saturn retrograde, so with the Saturn retrograde, you know, when it goes backwards like that, it truly shows you, you know, with Saturn retrograde, it's kind of like someone who's playing the game and they got powers. They got these powers to where they can go outside the perception of the game. They can go outside the bounds and stuff like that. You know? And also, it's almost like one of them type of things to where, you know, it's like a reverse. So when Saturn was in its regular rotation, people were able to get away with stuff. People were able to get away with cheating. They were able to get away with lying, being manipulative. They were able to get away with being proud, and they ain't got nothing that they should be proud about. They were able to get away with identifying themselves whatever they choose to identify, even if they didn't deserve the title. Also, when Saturn was in its regular placement, you know, people were able to be comfortable, you know, in situations that they shouldn't be comfortable in, but they know that they're on that side of the law to where, you know, they feel untouchable, you know. And this is where karma can come in, because people are gonna start to see how these particular people, you know, they're gonna be exposed for that, you know. So let's just say, for example, you know, if your life was supposed to be a certain way in 2020, if COVID would have never happened, during this Saturn retrograde, your life is gonna start to go to that direction. You know, if you were like what Dolo say, if you were planting good seeds, then your life is about to start to go in that direction. You know, with this Saturn retrograde, if during this time, you know, you were effing off with the money, you know, PPP loans, if you were doing a lot of stuff to dirty up who you are just to make money, all of those type of people right now, they're going to stick out like a sore thumb. And that's where the karma comes in, because, you know, when you stick out like a sore thumb, you get what's coming to you. So that's why people can kind of say, oh, well, that's karma, or that's karma, whatever, you know. So let's see where Saturn is at right now. That's Pluto. This is Saturn right here. So Saturn is in retrograde in Pisces in the 12th house. and Saturn is debilitated here, you know, which means that if you are disciplined, you know, right now, a lot of us are going to be having deja vu moments. A lot of us are going to be having a lot of different thoughts, you know, a lot of different emotions that you shouldn't have. Like, you shouldn't have. And it's a type of thing to where, you know, you're going to be able to choose what you decide to set your mood. You're going to be able to choose, you know, because these situations that are going to come up in your life are going to be blatant, like blatantly deja vu, like blatantly like, dang, this is something I've already been through, you know. And depending on your mood, it's going to depend on the difficulty. And then depending on your particular Saturn placement, you know, is going to be, you know, how or what boundaries you set for yourself. You know, what boundaries you set for yourself in this game that you decided to come down here and play. So in this reading, you know, we're going to talk about your particular Saturn placement. You know, and also, you know, what is your sun sign, your moon sign, what is your Saturn placement, you know, Because like I said, a lot of us right now, we're playing this game, um, and some of us are going through things that we shouldn't have went through. You know, things that we shouldn't have went through. A lot of us are facing difficulties that, I applaud you for going through it. But if you knew some of this knowledge, you would know how to fashion your life to play the game the way you want to play it. You know, but in order for you to do that, you got to know who you are first. You know, you gotta remember when you were at the arcade, what was the game that attracted you the most? When you were at the arcade, what was the game that attracted you the most? Because whatever that is, whatever game that was, it's going to have a lot to do with the way you're living now. And also the things that you use for escapism, which is Neptune. And right now, there's a lot of distractions that's going on as an escape, to make people not think about, what's going on right now. And with this midheaven in Capricorn, we're all supposed to be using this Saturn retrograde to get us closer to our goals. And that's what I'm about, getting closer to my goals, getting closer to, the things that is going to boost my reputation and also to boost my, finances and stuff like that too, So right now, I always like to talk about the Palace. Palace is in Scorpio in the 7th house, So, Palace is what gets you in the palace. PALACE. Your palace placement is that, is that part of you. Your palace placement, it represents that part of you that makes you who you are, like that makes you special, that makes you needed and stuff like that. And whatever that is, that is your key to living in your truth, like living your best life in this world, So right now, Palace in Scorpio, that's someone who, when it comes to relationships and stuff like that, you're really gonna have to have a mindset of change. Changing your relationships. But it's in retrograde, so a lot of us are gonna start to see certain patterns in our relationships, and we know that if I don't hurry up and transform this, if I don't hurry up and change this, I'm about to face a hard reality that I've already faced before. Or since this is retrograde, you may be seeing somebody else about to go through a situation in their relationship, and it's like, dang, I've already been through this before. Maybe I can help him, and you don't know what mode they're playing their game on. You don't know what mode they're playing their game on. If I'm playing a game on normal mode, and Satchel is playing the game on hard mode, then, just because I feel like I know the answer is going to be a lot more complex on his side on his side of the game. But if I don't know that this is how he's choosing to play the game, I could very well, be hurting him more than I'm trying to help him. So that's why right now, this is very important. Chiron and Aries in the 1st house. You being a new person. So this is you coming off as a brand new, uniquely individual type of person. This is when Chiron is this is when Chiron is doing what it's supposed to do. When you're the wounded healer. So you coming off as this, and then the ascendant right now is in Aries. So this is, everybody starting on stage 1. And that's gonna look different for depending on who you are, depending on what console, or are you on console? Are you on PC playing this game? You know, what type of mode are you playing? Are you, you know, depending on your Saturn placement, you know, we'll be able to talk about that. And also, you know, who are you? Because depending on who you are, depends on how good you're going to be at the game, or if you need to change your difficulty. And we all have that right to change our difficulty in this game. You know, your Saturn is in Sagittarius. So Saturn in Sagittarius, you know, you can't in this Cancer, you know, we're in Cancer right now. You know, Sagittarius is about experiences, you know, experiences that lead to a certain level of knowing, you know, experiences that leads to a certain level of knowing, you know, where you could possibly be a teacher. Experience is the best teacher. You know, that's what Saturn in Sagittarius is about, which means that you can't be in a mood. You can't be in a mood when you receive these Saturn things, you know, because at the end of the day, you came here to experience, you know, what you came here to experience. You know, me knowing you personally, with you having a Taurus moon, you know, you came down here with all the freaking with all the tokens that you would ever need to survive in this game. You know, so it makes sense that your Saturn is in Sagittarius. You know, don't be in a situation to where, you know, you're too afraid to experience hardships. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you know, everything that you would need to get past those hardships, you already got inside of you, you know. You said you drink, so you said I drink. Not really. Oh, you think so? Oh, I said you think so. Yeah. You know, don't let these hard reality and with this Mars and with this Saturn in retrograde, you know, you're gonna start to see other people around you, how undisciplined, how unruly, you know, how effed up karmically it seems like their life is. And then you're gonna look at your life and all the hard lessons that you had to learn, and you're gonna be thanking Saturn like, dang, man, I'm glad I did go through, you know, this. I'm glad I did go through that, or whatever. I'm going through it right now, financial hardship. Yeah, sure. Shit, I just paid rent today. Yeah, I know exactly what you going through. You know, hey, can I get a reading tonight? Yeah, showstopper. Yeah. Let me see. I still got the Cash App. Right here. If anybody wants a reading, let me go ahead and get my stuff set up. If anybody want a card reading, what kind of video game is Capricorn? So the video games that are Capricorn is like adventure games, like Uncharted, like Ghost of Tsushima. You know, these are single player games like Mario. You know, these are single player type of games to where it's an adventure. You know, you're supposed to uncover every rock. You're supposed to explore the game and stuff like that. You're supposed to explore. It's a process. You know, you're supposed to enjoy the process. You know, you're supposed to trust the process. All of those type of things. If you are a Saturn in Capricorn, you know, you chose to come down here and play the game as an adventure game. You know, if you're Saturn in Aquarius, you know, that means that you came down here either A, you came down here to be a game tester to test what the association has done to create the difficulties in this game. That's why it's Eshu. You're just supposed to be walking around just, like it's nothing, Either that or you're supposed to play the game online multiplayer or local multiplayer. But the only way that you're really gonna experience how the game needs to be experienced with you, if you're a Saturn in Aquarius, is that you got to find like-minded people and play the game together. And you're really gonna start unlocking stuff. So yeah, so open world RPG. That's more. Let me see. What did I have? Saturn good in. So open world RPG. That'd be more like a Virgo. That'd be more like a Virgo type of game. Open world RPG. Where in the game, you can choose what character you want to be in the game. That's literally how the RPG game starts. When it comes to Virgo, they got that one thing that they're good at. Virgo has that one thing that they're good at. And once they find that, they will be unstoppable, like Michael Jackson. I couldn't picture Michael Jackson as nothing else but a singer and entertainer and performer. Even though Jesus was a carpenter, that's not what he's most known for. Beyonce. Do y'all really picture Beyonce as doing anything else but singing? Some of these rappers, some of these singers, you can analyze their art, and you can, ascertain that they should have kept their day job. Like you sound like somebody that work at Walmart and got a mixtape. So let me do this countdown. I'm gonna get my table and all that stuff together for anybody who would like a reading, and I'm gonna be right back. I will be right.
T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute and 50 seconds. T-minus 1 minute and 40 seconds. T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. T-minus 1 minute and 20 seconds. T-minus 1 minute and 10 seconds.
All right. Let me go get my cards. Give me 1 second, y'all. I thought I had them with me. Okay. I got my cards. And we ready to go. Put this right here. Okay. All right. So let me make sure my music is on. I got that on. All right, we ready. We're ready for these live readings. What's up, y'all? Okay, so we got Showstopper. We got showstopper first. Okay. Now, you asked for the natal reading. So, showstopper, what is your sun sign, your moon sign? What is your sun, moon, ascendant, and what is your Saturn placement? What is your sun, moon, ascendant, and Saturn placement? Showstopper. Where you at, showstopper? Showstopper, where you at? Where you at? Cause she hit me up on Instagram like, yo. All right, showstopper. So what is your, you wanted a natal reading? What is your sun, moon, ascendant, and your Saturn placement? Because we need to see what mode. Actually, give me your Saturn placement and your Cancer placement. What's your Cancer placement and your Saturn placement? You know, your sun, moon, ascendant, Cancer, and Saturn. What are those placements? What is your sun, moon, ascendant, and Saturn placements? And also, Cancer. And your Cancer placement. So while I'm waiting on showstopper, does anybody else want a live reading? Let me see here. All right, let me refresh my page. See if anybody else. And next time I'm gonna do this a lot earlier in the day too. Libra sun, Scorpio moon, Libra ascendant, Saturn in the 12th house, in Libra. And then what is your Cancer placement? So let's see. So you said Libra sun. See where Libra at. Libra right here in the 7th house. You know. So let me see what you said. 12th house, Sun, Saturn. No Cancer in Western astrology. See, I don't have a Cancer placement either, but I have Venus in Cancer and I got Mars in Cancer. You know. So let me see. What house does it look like it's shining over? Like, what if you wasn't looking at the actual numbers and you see that cancer in a house? What house does it look like it's in? That's another thing too. So Libra sun, you know, so you're already in a perfect, you know, astrologically, you're already in a perfect type of situation, you know. When it comes to you know, Saturn loves Libra. You know, balance, you know. Now right now, you know, there can be some, because of this retrograde, there can be some, you may see other people go through embarrassing situations in their relationships. You may see, because even though the 7th house right now is in Libra, it looks like Scorpio, you know. So in your situation, you know, you're things can be very embarrassing because you're going to be starting to uncover a lot of manipulation, a lot of conniving stuff, a lot of those type of Scorpio, um, you know, you being embarrassed when it comes to work, when it comes to work related type of situations, and then you finding out that it wasn't really an embarrassment. It was just that the people that you were comparing yourself with, they wasn't telling you the whole truth. A lot of secrets, you know. But let's see. Aquarius in the fourth house. Okay, so yeah, you know. Let's just say if Cancer is in your fourth house, but it says it's in Aquarius, that means that a lot of your influences before you came here, you were supposed to play this game multiplayer, and with you supposed to play the game multiplayer, this is you understanding. The first thing that you understand when you're playing a game like this is, who out here is actually, themselves, like who out here are actually playing, like actually being who they are, and who are the NPCs and the AI. Because another thing, Aquarius is responsible for the AI. The association that created this game is responsible for programming the AI. So you have people called level editors. That's more of a Capricorn. But see, Aquarius, they're the ones that control the AI. They control the AI, and for someone who has a Libra sun, you come into the game expecting for things to be balanced. With you having a Scorpio moon, your inner child, which is a Oya type of inner child, so you very well may be like a old soul, like a Aunt Yansa. Let me know, were you able to have a childhood, or did you have to assume responsibilities of Saturn before your time, before you were supposed to, so yes, on an outward level, you understand that things are supposed to be balanced, but your journey, your shadow work journey, is almost something that your inner child already knew before coming in, that things aren't as balanced as you may think they are. A lot of manipulation, a lot of people getting over, a lot of people masquerading as one thing and they really another thing. You have a lot of people in honorary positions and they don't really know what they're doing, so they're cheating the game. You see, your inner child saw this firsthand, and they decided to come down here and play the game in a body that's going to be able to withstand responsibilities for sure. Yeah. You came down here in a body that can withstand the good, like the really, really good, and the really, really bad. And you're a Libra ascendant, so whatever choice that you decide to make, that's what you're gonna come off as. That's what your personality is gonna come off as. That's what you're gonna look like to everybody else. So as far as this game is concerned, this is who your inner child. Let me show you, showstopper. Let me show you who your inner child is. Let me show you who your inner child is. Let me take this away for a second, and let me put this natal chart back up here, because this represents your inner child. Even though your inner child may get a bad rep right now, showstopper, this is who your inner child really is. And when you get to know this inner child, it's going to give you a even greater understanding of the game that you chose to play. Proud, independent, and fair character, attracted to oriental matters. You know, so you literally came down here, you know, to handle multiple things. You know, your inner child probably got about 11 different bodies that your inner child decided to you know, to come here in. You know, you may be a fragment, you know, you yourself, showstopper, may be a fragment for a even larger, you know, what I see is like a 8-headed dragon. You know, one body but multiple heads. You know, and this can be you as a spirit. So people be wondering, you know, why is it that she can do this thing and be good at that, and why she can be good at this and good at this and good at that, and that's why. You know, Oriental. What does Oriental mean? Oriental. Hold on. I thought it was gonna do it for me. When I think about Oriental, I just think about otherworldly. You know, that's what I think of. You know, Oriental, otherworldly. You know, success and fame can be achieved in politics and or reforms and discoveries. You know, you came down here like Scooby-Doo to solve a few mysteries. You came here to solve a few mysteries, particularly if the sun is strong in the natal chart. You know, you're a Libra sun, so your sun is very strong. Your sun sign is very strong in this retrograde. This degree heralds that the greatest honors are granted and that all ambitions are fulfilled, even the wildest ones. You know, so this is who your inner child. This is who your inner child is showing you right now, that this is who she is. You know, and so with you having this power, because with great power comes great responsibility. Every time you make a choice on this side, you know, you always have this Chiron and Aries that you got to look out for. You know, this is you being responsible for what you choose, for the game that you choose to play. Because you came down here, your whole life is an arcade. You know, and you got to choose what game you are deciding that you're going to play, that you're going to be, you know, that you're going to play. Because you came down here with a bunch of different coins, bunch of different tokens. You know, you came down here to play as many games as you want to. But just because you came down here like that, that doesn't mean, you know, that you can just be around here just using that power all willy-nilly. You know, because this Chiron is going to wound you real bad if you do. You know, you don't want to be seen as a cheerful, weak-willed, and carefree character. One has no ambition other than indulging in meaningless activities. Just because something is open for you to do don't mean that you necessarily got to do it. That's where self-control comes in. You know, you should have learned that when you were a kid playing at the arcade. You know, now as an adult, you have to be a parent. You got to be a parent. You got to understand this, because things are gonna happen to where it seems like the boundaries are gonna be a little laxed. You know, you're gonna be able to glitch your way through stuff, and you don't want to take advantage of the wrong thing just because now this is an option that's available for you. You know, and lets other people run the show, probably the spouse or sibling. So this is somebody, you know, they're an adult, and they're still trying to play the game as if they're a kid in the arcade. And it's like, you know, you're an adult, you know, just buy a PC with an emulator, you know, like, you know, like you're an adult, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. One does not mind their contempt because one is aware that outside the family or work circles, one is very much appreciated for their talents when it comes to organizing parties and fashionable gatherings. You know, people taking advantage of you because you don't know your worth. You know, endowed with intense sensuality, and that attraction to people of the opposite gender is their source of troubles. You know, people only wanting to be around, associated with you for your money. You know, people only wanted to be associated with you because of your status. You know, you don't want that to be your story. Green Dragon's been coming through. Yeah. You know, and green, you know, what does that color green signify spiritually? You know, and dragons, you know, that's Sagittarius energy. You know, that's talking about transforming from a state. You know, so that can mean a few different things, you know, depending on how you see it. You know, so if you can heed that message while you're playing this game, you will be glad that you did. You know, let's see, do we got anybody else? Do we got anybody else? And I got my cards right here. Said, damn, so much responsibility this lifetime. I thought Saturn was good in this placement. Hey, Saturn is good in this placement because you need to have self-control. You know, when Saturn is good in a placement, it means that you're not going to overstep the boundaries because you understand. So let's go back. So Saturn in Capricorn, you know, if you're a Capricorn, you know, Saturn is cool with you because you're not going to go outside the boundaries because you understand the processes that needs to be taken in order to get to your goals. You know, if you're an Aquarius, you know, you understand you're not going to go outside the boundaries because you understand that with the right type of people around you, you'll be able to reach your goals with the right associations, with the right humanitarian efforts and attitude. You know, you can reach your goals. If you're a Libra, you know, you're going to be balanced. You know, you understand that with every positive, there's a negative. You know, with every action, there's a reaction. You know, with every cause, there's an effect. So with you understanding that, you'll never go outside the boundaries of the game. You know, because you know that, you know, imbalanced game is a broken game, and a broken game can't be played. If you're a Taurus, you know, if you're a Taurus, you know, you understand about patience. You know, you understand about self-worth. You know, all the things, you know, when it comes to Saturn, you know, when you know who you are and you're confident in that, you're gonna be disciplined. You know, you're gonna be responsible. You know, you're gonna be fair. You're gonna have patience. You know, stuff like that. You know, if you're a Virgo, you just can't let Saturn micromanage you as a Virgo. You know, because Saturn likes Virgo's attention to detail. You know, Saturn likes Virgo's patience. You know, as a Virgo, you have to be self-disciplined and stuff like that. You know, so even if, because me, I got Saturn in Aquarius, but I hate Saturn in Aquarius. You know, because it's in my 5th house. So every time I try to do something when it comes to my creativity, I get a block, you know. But these past few these past few weeks, months, me looking over my life, doing my shadow work, I'm understanding that a lot of those blocks when it came to my creativity was for a reason, because if I would have been signed to a label or something like that, like I wanted, a lot of these freedoms that I have now, I wouldn't have, if I use my creativity willy-nilly in the sexual aspect, and I got the wrong woman pregnant. Now that's a hard reality that I'm gonna have to always live with, you know, um, different things like that, when it comes to my inner child, Saturn in Aquarius, I have to be very responsible and accountable when it comes to my thoughts, the way I choose to perceive things and stuff like that, because it's not just me, my inner child, me being a Virgo moon and a Virgo ascendant, my inner child is definitely important in my life. But that doesn't mean that my inner child runs, everything in my life, because my inner child is innocent. So, my inner child, he doesn't have to play by rules. He doesn't have to face the hard reality of life. That's what I have to go through. So it's not, a lot of times it's not because you're going through negative things in your life. Sometimes your inner child wants to experience certain things, so your inner child will send you on a dummy mission sometimes, because it knows at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have to go through, whatever it is. Your soul don't got to go through that. Your soul is experiencing while you're going through it, So that's something to think about. All right. So what I'll do, next time I do this stream, these streams, I'm gonna try my best to do these a lot earlier in the day. So that way I can catch more people. But, either way, I appreciate everybody who's here. I appreciate everybody who stayed, everybody who participated, I definitely appreciate y'all. And I'll keep doing these pop-up shows, when I get the time. And at the end of the day, the main thing is never forget that you always have a choice. One thing that Oya, my third house in Scorpio, always remember that you have a choice. No matter what the consequence, no matter what people try to call you, no matter what things seem like that they're gonna be or whatever, just always understand that you always have a choice to make. You always have a choice. Not every decision is gonna be comfortable all the time. Not every decision is gonna make everybody around you comfortable. Sometimes you may intuitively get a decision that you need to make, and people may not be able to understand what process needs to be taken in order for you to make that decision. But that doesn't mean that if you're spiritually led, which is Pisces, or if you're extremely passionate, spiritually passionate, which is Aries, about doing something, that doesn't mean that to not do it, because a lot of times it's those things that we do out of bounds, those things that we find out of bounds are the things that you'll be able to use, to either understand more about the reality that you're in, to get ahead. It all depends on who you are, so if y'all can heed that message, you'll be glad that you did. Like I say, I always appreciate y'all for coming through. And until next time, peace.